Apparently, my computer, the microphones on my computer are busted. I just ran a diagnostic on my computer. Did not know that was a thing. I am so sorry. I was going on a complete and utter tirade. Didn't hear me, but I wasn't paying attention, so I apologize for that. I'll get that corrected later this week. Not gonna lie, pretty embarrassed that that happened. Pretty embarrassed that happened. But gonna head back to my main point about Pete Carmichael. So we're gonna wait here. We're gonna see where I leave off in terms of how far y'all. Let's see. Hey, Chosen, what's going on, brother? We're gonna be firing Pete Carmichael into the sun. Oh, my sound has been. My sound was off from the jump. Wow. So it looks like I need to do some testing with my computer soon, but let's get back to Pete Carmichael for a second. Pete Carmichael, if you guys haven't heard me on my rant earlier, Pete Carmichael has been here since the mid 2000s. The mid 2000s when Sean Payton and Drew Brees were here. Coincidence? Maybe not. It is now 2023. It is time to make a change. But it's not Dennis Allen that needs to be changed. It's Pete Carmichael, and I'm going to explain why. Let's talk about the defense for a second. Let's talk about it. Dennis Allen has a top 10 defense on top of the fact that he knows what this team needs and he's not afraid to go out and get it. When was the last time we've seen Sean Payton actually go out there and get a guy that we've been screaming for? Mr. We like everyone, we like the guys we have in our locker room. That Sean Payton, that's the guy that some people are calling to come back. Sean Payton would have lost this game either way. Secondly, let's look at the defensive performance today. Overall, not very good, but let's look at some of the bright spots that have to do with Dennis Allen. Keeping Demario Davis, Dennis Allen, even though he's been here since 2018. Brian Brzee, a guy who many of us were questioning coming into this year. Can he be productive? Can he stay healthy? Brian Brzee has 4 total tackles, a tackle for loss, and a sack on his stat sheet today. He was arguably the best defensive lineman for the Saints today. Arguably the best defensive player on the field today. Better than Cam Jordan. Better than Demario Davis. Better than Alontae Taylor. Better than Marshawn Lattimore. Better than Cam Jordan. Brian Brzee showed up and showed out when we needed him to. And I give him props for that. Another guy that did good, I'd say Alontae Taylor. Alontae Taylor has stepped up. He showed out. Now, he did give up a big play to Chris Godwin on the crossing route. But come on, guys, let's keep it a buck. Chris Godwin's going to do that to almost everybody. Chris Godwin's just that good of a receiver. I hate to say it, but he's going to be here for the longest time. Other than those two and the turnover forced by Isaac, but he's not a guy I'm going to say had a good day today. Other than those two, the Saints defense today, even though they were good for like 3 quarters again, they fumbled again in the 4th. Now, not entirely their fault. Not entirely their fault. But when you're getting picked on as the backup corner in Isaac Yedem, or you're constantly giving up back-breaking penalties that keep offensive drives alive for opposing teams, I don't know what to say about that, other than the fact that we are sorely missing Paulson Adebo and Marcus May. A lot of fans out here didn't want to give Paulson Adebo and Marcus May their credit. They saw Marcus May, Paulson Adebo struggle last year. Paulson Adebo was because of injury he sustained during training camp last year. They didn't want to give those guys credit. But since, look at what's happened. Lonnie Johnson injured. Isaac Gedem picked on in crunch time. Those guys need to come back. Another bad performance, I would say Marshawn Lattimore. You know, the same Marshawn Lattimore that we've been raving about all off season and all season long, that he's the best cornerback in the game. He got picked on by Mike Evans, a guy he routinely shuts out. Not only that, even when Mike Evans left the game, he's still getting picked on. Either giving up receptions, granted he didn't give anything up over the top, or the man is getting driven on his by a day 3 receiver in Trey Palmer. Granted, it was a holding call. Marshawn Lattimore didn't have a good game today. And I'm going to make sure he already does know that. Davis did not have a good game either. Now, he is still a top 3 linebacker in this league. Demario Davis is allowed to have a bad game every now and again. I know Demario Davis is going to shake back. He is a leader and a man of God for a reason. But today, specifically, I've caught him out of position a handful of times. He missed the tackle. Almost missed. I think he missed 2 tackles today. Wasn't very active, I'd say, in the run game. He did have good coverage, but not your typical Demario Davis type performance that we're accustomed to seeing. And I think all of this accumulates to the fact that they're on the field for over 70 freaking plays. That's what happened last week against the Green Bay Packers. That's what happened last week against the Green Bay Packers. 71 plays total. They were out there. Gassed. And it still kept them in it. They were asked to do that again. Why? Because of offensive coordinator Pete Carmichael Jr. Pete Carmichael Jr. Not even going to give him the satisfaction of calling him Pete Carmichael. He gets the full government name. Because that's how bad he was. Guys, hear me well when I say this. Pete Carmichael Jr., since the Rams game last year, has yet to produce a game over 20 points. Over 20 points. And before that, it's been spurts. It hasn't been consistent. Pete Carmichael Jr. since 2021 has been god-awful. Absolutely awful. Whereas 9-0 or some other freaking game, it's been freaking terrible. Tell me why Pete Carmichael Jr. is having receivers run into each other because they're running the same route. I counted on 3 separate occasions in this game alone that Pete Carmichael Jr. has had receivers running into each other or someone's running the wrong route. That is a coaching issue. Going on 10 games of not having 20 or more points. Coaching issue. But I'm supposed to be looking at Derek Carr. I'm supposed to be looking at Dennis Allen, who coaches on the defensive side of the ball, who makes play calls on the defensive side of the ball. I'm supposed to believe that. And guys, speaking of Derek Carr, he's stop talking about the fact that he has a $150 million contract with the Saints right now. Because understand the current market for quarterbacks is trending in a direction we've never seen before. We got Patrick Mahomes making 400 plus million. We've got Lamar Jackson making over 220 million. We got Justin Herbert making over 250 million. Hell, even Kyler Murray is making over 200 million. The money is parallel to Derek Carr and what he is at this point in his career. That's chump change. That is freaking chump change. But everyone wants to use the fact that he's getting paid 150 million and playing like he is. I am willing to give Derek Carr time. I'm not giving Pete Carmichael Jr. any time. He is absolutely slaw, just like TJ said, just like my man JL said here in the chat. There's no excuse. There's no way. And while we're at it, while we're pointing fingers at keeping the main thing, let's bring Doug Marrone into the conversation. Doug Marrone, who came from Alabama, one of the most successful schools in the nation in college football history. Doug Marrone was fired. Doug Marrone was shot into the sun by Nick Saban. We brought him here thinking he was going to help elevate this team in terms of pass protection. Guess what? It is bottom 20. Bottom 20. Hell, probably even worse than that. There is absolutely no way that the Saints allowed this many, put this much resources into this team's offensive line, and they're all suddenly playing terrible. Eric McCoy, he just got paid. Cesar Ruiz, coming off his best year as our best offensive lineman, he for some reason is back to his old self. He got paid. Ryan Ramczyk, you can make an argument that he's just getting up there in age and his knees aren't what they used to be. But before he got paid, he was playing as an All-Pro, a first-team All-Pro, including last year. He's not playing well. Trevor Penning, even though he's trending in the right direction, not playing too well. James Hurst, not looking too well. And we all know what Andrews Pete is. He can't stay on the field regardless of who's the offensive line coach. First and second round picks, for some reason, they all just mysteriously also have to play bad at roughly the same time. But that's Dennis Allen's fault. That's Derek Carr's fault. Now, granted, the offensive line played well today. I will give them that. But today's performance by the offensive line does not, reflect the overall makeup of performance that this team has had. 10 sacks through 3 games. I think it's up to 12, probably 13 today. It is absolutely crazy. It's mind-boggling to me. I can't get over the fact that Pete Carmichael Jr., or in this case, Peter Edwards Carmichael Jr., thank you, JL. Peter Edwards Carmichael Jr. is sitting here on 3rd and 4s and 3rd and 5s, calling shot plays down the field, not understanding down and distance, and not playing control time of possession. He wants a shot play down the field to Shaheed, an underneath route for Kamara, or run an underneath route with Michael Thomas, or run an underneath route with Jimmy Graham, who is 6'7". Jimmy Graham has only had one target all season. Are you kidding me? When they were down in the red zone, I was screaming internally for Pete Carmichael Jr. to call a play designed to get Jimmy Graham the football. And it wasn't happening. Why? Pete Carmichael Jr. just can no longer put his players in position to succeed because he can't break the tendencies that has gotten him here throughout his career in the first place. Opposing teams are looking at the film. They're looking at the fact that Pete Carmichael Jr. has he refuses to break, and they are game planning accordingly to take advantage of that. It is time for this offense to get going in a new direction because we are wasting the prime of Alvin Kamara. We are wasting the prime of this elite defense that we were screaming to have when Drew Brees was here in the mid 2010s. We are wasting the years of Cam Jordan, who deserves a ring. Wasting the years of Demario Davis, who deserves a ring arguably more than anyone else on this team right now. Wasting the prime of Marshawn Lattimore. We're going to waste Pete Werner, Brazil, Alontae Taylor, Pete Werner, wasting the services of Tyrann Mathieu, who deserves to have another ring with his hometown team. Wasting the years of Cesar Ruiz, who I believe will have a bounce back game. Wasting the years of Kendre Miller, who for some reason Pete Carmichael Jr. just can't find ways to give him the football in space. Wasting the years of Rashid Shaheed. Wasting the years of Juwan Johnson, of Chris Olave. The list goes on and freaking on. I am tired. We are tired of looking at Pete Carmichael Jr. try to call plays for this offense. It's played out. It's done. It's washed. It's cooked. Conversations need to be had in that locker room. They need to be had, and they need to be had today. I'm not putting much of this on Derek Carr, but I will be the first to say that Derek Carr, he did not play very well today. He missed open receivers. He missed an open back shoulder to Olave that would have put the Saints down inside the 30. Missed a wide open slant route to Michael Thomas, a staple route, by the way, that hasn't been called as much. Pete Carmichael Jr., coaching issue. He missed an open slant to Michael Thomas, threw it behind him. More drops in this game today than we have had in the last 2 seasons. Or damn near close to it. That's how bad it's been. We can't do it. We cannot do it. Pete Carmichael needs to go. I believe in Derek Carr. Hell, I would believe in Jameis Winston. I don't think the quarterbacks are the issue that we need to be tackling right now. I don't even think Dennis Allen is the main issue we need to be having a discussion about. The discussion needs to be why offensive coordinator Carmichael Jr. is calling the same stuff, the same stupid stuff that gets this team in trouble. There is absolutely no reason why Pete Carmichael Jr. should be calling plays deep down the field on 3rd and 4s, on 3rd and 3s, on 3rd and 5s. It just cannot happen. Why did you go away from what was working in the first quarter? You were willing to take what the defense was willing to give you. You got away from that. That opposing sideline put the fear in God in you, and you played into their hands. Again. Can't happen. It can't happen. Derek Carr has time. Usually, when it comes to a new quarterback and a new system and a new offense, yes, the overall philosophy may be the same, but the nuances and the personnel, you need time on task to do that, Sergeant King. I understand Derek Carr has not played very well. He is surprised he is not playing very well. What does that say to you? If he is coming out here saying that he is very, very surprised that they are not clicking the way they should. That sounds like a coaching issue. And it sounds like Dennis Allen is aware of that fact just as well. Derek Carr needs time on task with these guys. We all got ourselves thinking that Derek Carr was going to be this plug and play quarterback that was going to elevate this offense. Can he elevate this offense? Yes, he can. He's proven he can do it in 2021. He can do it again, and he's not that far removed. The issue is players aren't being utilized the way they should, and that is a coaching philosophy issue. I should not be seeing Chris Olave and Michael Thomas running the same out route to the same side of the field on second or third downs or at any point in the game. I should not be seeing Rashid Shaheed running go routes down the field or deep post routes down the field on 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3 in enemy territory. It cannot happen. Those are dumb play calls. He got away from the run game. We were expecting, because there was a report that came out earlier today that Alvin Kamara was going to be in for a workload in the run game and in the passing game. He came away with 11 receptions. I will give him that. But you cannot, under any circumstances, get away from your game plan. It can't happen. You still had this game in the palm of your hand, but you got away from the running game because you Todd Bowles in that defense to scare you out of it. The run was working. You were sucking in the linebackers. You were sucking in the safeties. Getting defenders in the box. You have to run the football. Even if it's not working, the defense is honest. But he didn't do that. Why? Because he's an idiot. He's an absolute imbecile. His tendencies are out there. His play callings are washed. I do not live in New Orleans. I'm next door in Gulfport, Mississippi, I'm just a little over an hour away. Jamal, Kellogg, what's going on? Glad to see you. But look, guys, as long as Pete Carmichael Jr. is here, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And I hate to say it, is what it is. Now, I still have us winning next week, right? I have us winning next week against the New England Patriots, but it's not going to be by very much. It is going to be a 13-10 win for the New Orleans Saints next week. I believe that. Just on the simple fact that the overall talent on this Saints roster trumps what the New England Patriots currently have on hand. Not to mention they're going to be without Matthew Judon and Christian Gonzalez, though those things really don't matter because the Saints have gotten favorable looks in terms of teams being without certain players, and they still can't take advantage. But Mac Jones doesn't move me. He does not move me. Bailey Zappi does not move me. Mac Jones got benched today. And I was supposed to believe that this team with this talent is supposed to be trumped by Mac Jones, who got benched, who's looking like he's going to be out the door by the end of his rookie deal. I don't think Dennis Allen will outsmart Belichick. It's not even about just outsmarting him. It's not even about Dennis Allen. It's not about Dennis Allen at this point. It's about Carmichael. Dennis Allen doesn't call the offense. He offense. Pete Jr. calls the offense. Carr got bent. Carr did not get like Mac Jones did. Carr in this offense had a chance to go down here and win the game. Mac Jones did not have that because Mac Jones was making wild throws, throwing across his body on the opposite side of the field, getting picked off and getting pick sixes. bench is bench. No bench. Well, bench is bench, but the circumstances behind each are totally different. They're completely different. You have to look at that. Mac Jones got benched because he was making stupid decisions with the football, putting the ball in harm's way, throwing the ball across his body, leaving it up for grabs for anybody to get. Carr got taken out because the game was already over with less than 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and he still had to deal with an AC sprain. Get ready for next week. Whether we won or lost the game is besides the point, Sergeant. Sarge. No, we did not win the game, but that's beside the point. The point is these two teams are going up against each other, and the overall talent on each roster, the Saints have a favorable talent, have a favorable roster. That's just what it boils down to. It's going to be a low scoring game. The Saints aren't going to put up 20 plus points. But if you're going to sit here and tell me that that Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi are going to put up 26 points, 21 points, 17 points against the Saints defense, who are most likely going to get Paulson and Debo back, I don't know, man. Carr shouldn't have started this game, but they don't trust Jameis. I genuinely don't think it's a lack of trust factor. I really do believe that Derek Carr had no limitations when it comes to the AC sprain he suffered. I think he was actually fine. He should. If your starting quarterback is good to go, then you have to start him. Like, that's what it boils down to. He scored 9 points, no TDs, only field goals. That is a coaching issue. Yes, I'm the first that Derek Carr today played terrible. He did. Okay, he did. But you have to look at why they only scored 9 points, why they didn't score a touchdown. And this issue has gone on way before Derek Carr even got here. We're going on 10 games. We're going close to 10 games now that the Saints have not scored over 20 points in a regular season football game. The last time the Saints scored a touchdown, scored more than 20 points, was against the Rams when Andy Dalton was here. That's the only time. And even before that, it was a toss-up. The Saints weren't routinely scoring weren't entirely scoring on offense. That's just it's a coaching issue, Sergeant. I'm sorry that you don't agree. Derek Carr definitely deserves this criticism, but let's keep the main thing here. Why are we seeing these receivers run the wrong routes? Unless it's a coaching issue. You think Andy Dalton looked better last year than Carr looks? No, I do not. No, I do not. That said, it's still only 4 games into the season. It's hard to draw any surefire conclusions either way, no matter what side of the fence you're on, until like week 7, maybe even week 8. I'm still willing, personally, this is just me. If you have your own opinions, that's totally fine. But right now, as it stands, Derek Carr still has time to make believers that are Saints fans. He has time to make believers that are Saints fans. Pete Carmichael has no time. Pete Carmichael has been here for 17 seasons. 2006, he's been here. There is absolutely no reason why he can't get this roster of offensive explosive weapons to work. I'm giving Pete Carmichael Jr. no room. Your season prediction. My season prediction is the same as it's been since training camp. 11-6 is the ceiling. We go 11-6 at the ceiling, 9-8 as the floor. Anyone who came into this game or coming to the season thinking they're going to win 12 plus games are out of their mind. We have to be realistic where we're at. We have a new quarterback behind a makeshift offensive line that is suddenly playing terrible with an offensive play caller that can't utilize his weapons the proper way. But there is still there is still time for these offensive weapons and Derek Carr to gel. So yes, I will say 11-6. 11-6 the ceiling, 9-8 the floor. And if we go 9-8, we barely miss the playoffs again. I think the only surefire in the NFC South right now, other than us line being terrible, is Baker Mayfield and how good he's playing over there. Baker Mayfield looks like a completely different quarterback than he was with the Browns, than he was with the Panthers, than he was with that short time with the Rams. That's how different Baker Mayfield looks, because he's surrounded by a top 10, maybe a top 5 defense overall, with an offensive line that knows what it's doing and knows what kind of offense they are. They're not a good run team, but at least they can pass protect. Baker Mayfield's not asked to do too much, and when he is asked to do something, he's afraid to get the necessary yardage with his legs. He's not afraid to put his shoulder down like Taysom Hill and try to truck somebody to get the extra yardage for a first down. Baker Mayfield is playing within the limits of himself. He's being asked within the limits of himself. Have to be Superman every single down, every single drive. And that has helped him immensely to look better. I will be the first to say that. That's the only J so far in the NFC South. You think we'll go 4-13? I think you're not giving this team enough credit. 3-14? OG, I don't think you're giving this team enough credit. Guys, I understand the offense isn't looking too good right now, but we can't sit here and act like that it's the end of the world. The schedule is still favorable because now you got an AFC stretch coming up with the Patriots and the Colts. You still got the Jaguars coming up. You got the Texans not too sure about the Texans with how they're playing. The Texans look really good with CJ Stroud. But overall, the schedule is favorable. OG, I understand the offensive play calling is completely terrible. Hence the caption. Hence why I'm saying throw Pete McCall into the stratosphere. But the talent on this team is just too good. It's just too good to be 4-13. It's too good to be 3-14. They're going to win games. It's just a matter of how many and how many consistently when they're there. Patriots, Texans, Jaguars, Colts, those are winnable games. Today was a surprise, yes. Was it winnable? Yes, yes. Thank you, OG. It is the coaching. Carmichael Jr. coaching. They need to have those tough conversations. I will never sit here and say that the Saints are going to go 4-13 or 3-14. I'll never say that. I may be something of a homer. It may just be the Saints fan that's in me. But this team has too much heart. This team has too much resolve within themselves to sit there and say that they can't get to where they want to be. Dennis Allen has been a completely different coach compared to last season. Night and day. They need to have those tough conversations in that locker room, and changes do have to be made. If they make them, they need to make them now. Because early in the season, while you still have time to put it all together, if they can get it going, if they can win this next game and build off of that, then they got something. I genuinely believe that. The Patriots have already written off as a win. 10-13 win. Texans, a little bit of a toss-up. Not as easy of a win as I thought because CJ Stroud is playing out of his mind. Jaguars, I genuinely believe that we can win that game too. And the Colts, don't get me started. This 4-game stretch you got listed right here against the Patriots in the AFC South, I believe the Saints will go 3-1 with the loss being to the Texans. Different where? The difference, I don't know what you mean by that. I need you to explain that to me. Miss KK. Oh, for the next 4 weeks. Come on, dog. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. Absolutely crazy talk. Absolutely crazy talk. No way the Saints go 0-4 that stretch. Then and only then will I say this team needs to do a complete rehaul and fire everybody, DA included. That's a big if. If they don't go at least 2-2, then yeah, we'll have those conversations about Dennis Allen too. I don't see us winning in 4 weeks. I think we'll win in 4 weeks. You're talking about that in 4 weeks against the Colts and Anthony Richardson? Yeah, I think we'll win that one. I think we'll win the Patriots. I think we'll lose to the Texans. Just because the QB play is too good. I can see us winning against the Jaguars. Jaguars don't really scare me. Like, this team just got too much heart. They got too much grit. But that's either way, all this is solely dependent on what type of conversations that the Saints have with Pete Carmichael this week. No matter what side of the fence we're on, all that hinges on what, if anything, happens in that locker room in terms of conversations. Jags playing well. They're 2-2. They're 2-2, same as us, and they beat the Falcons. Anybody can beat the Falcons. We and our worst could beat the Falcons. They're 2-2 just like us. That being said, everybody, tomorrow we're going to go live with our final thoughts from my computer this time. So I'm not too sure what's going on with that, but I'm hoping to get that fixed tomorrow. We'll go live tomorrow for our final thoughts on the game, offensively, defensively, and special teams. We're going to give our final thoughts about Pete Carmichael and Dennis Allen, and then we're going to put this behind us officially. For the most part, I'm already through. I'm already well behind this game, well ahead of this game. Put it behind me. Don't care too much about it at this point, but we still got to talk about it a little bit, right? So tomorrow we're going to do our final thoughts, and then mindset switches to preparing for the New England Patriots. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties that I was having on my PC. You guys did try to tell me that there was just no audio. I'm going to do a couple of test runs early tomorrow morning and see what's going on. I hope you guys enjoyed today's edition of the B&G Breakdown Podcast. I won't be doing these too consistently. I still have work. I work second shift from 2 to 10:30 well at night. I don't get home until around 11 when most of you guys are already in bed asleep. So, yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens, but I am going to start doing this a little more often, even if I have to do it from my freaking phone. Whether I'm here or at work or something of that effect. Okay? So, keep it locked in here. I appreciate everybody coming out with their thoughts. I'm hoping to get some more debates going because I actually do enjoy these conversations, even if there are opinions I don't necessarily agree with. That's all what makes us fans. I love this type of stuff. I breathe this type of stuff. So, I'll see you guys tomorrow at around, we're going to shoot for 2 o'clock. We're going to shoot for 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 10 o'clock in the morning. Either from 10 to 2, somewhere in there, we're going to go live for our final thoughts. Until next time, everybody, and as always, if you don't know, you will know over here. We bleed black and gold until we are dead and cold. I'll see you guys.